right, now we're back to way number 12 here on Tuesday, April 12th, Financial Literacy Month of 30 different ways that you can get started in real estate investing. Now, full disclosure, this is another method that I've read about. I know a lot of people that have done it or are doing it. I myself have not done it, at least not yet, but I'll at least walk you through the mechanics of how this works. And this is essentially called the BRRRR method. Now, I don't mean BRRRR like it's cold here in Minnesota, if you're watching this from the northern tundra or some other cold area. No, this is basically an acronym for a way to invest in real estate that could essentially be done where it doesn't need a lot of capital to get involved. You're using a lot of OPM or other people's money, and it's a way to recycle those profits over and over to build your portfolio very quickly going forward. Recently, I just interviewed for a podcast that will be coming out probably about May or June at this time, but Andrea, who's the COO of Get Rich Education, had her on my Wealth and Freedom Nexus podcast. And we talked a little bit about this because this is a method that she has used herself to really build up and expand her portfolio since 2016. But going into the acronym, what does it all stand for? So there's a couple of, obviously 5 letters here. And the first one is buy. So essentially what you're going to be doing is buying a distressed property that, is going to need some work, that you're going to have to rehab and stick some dollars into it. Now, this kind of unique way to get into real estate, typically you're not going to be able to go into a traditional bank and get a loan right out the gate. A lot of times for a property like this, you're going to need, hard money, private money, your own funds. You can take out, money from a HELOC, life insurance policy loan, take a collateralized loan against maybe your Bitcoin or cryptocurrency holdings, perhaps a loan against your gold or silver through TDS or silver bullion, where you already have collateral. You're just taking a loan out against that collateral and using those proceeds to buy a property all cash. But so this is how essentially this works. Say you buy a property and you've done your due diligence. It's in a good neighborhood, a good area, growing area, but it needs some work. It's not move-in ready by any stretch of the means. Some BRRRR operators say the worse the better, and might be a little bit more risky for some people, but it can be a way to get started in real estate investing. And like I said, just kind of recycle those funds over and over and over again. And I'm going to walk you through how this works. So I'll just go through an example here in town. There's a infamous brick house on Main Street, a couple blocks from the Hy-Vee that I believe the owner lives in Mankato. It's been neglected for years. There's overgrown bushes. I don't think anyone's lived in there for probably at least 3 or 4 years. But for whatever reason, the owner doesn't want to sell. But we're going to say this owner does want to sell. It's like, fine. Yeah, I've neglected this for many years. I just want to get rid of it. Now, looking around in, I'll just say the Marshall area, I think very reasonably, this house could be worth $200,000 if it were rehabbed and brought up to code and made livable, let's say. So for just an example, we're going to say, this property has been neglected for so long. Like I said, the owner, I believe, lives in Mankato, and say we take out, let's say it's a combination of savings and a HELOC or maybe a life insurance loan. We're able to buy this property for $40,000. Could be more, could be less. Like I said, I'm just kind of walking you through the numbers. Obviously, you really have to do your due diligence. You really have to know your rehab numbers. Really got to have your numbers dialed in, and make sure you have a lot of variances built in, because things can happen. You can rip out a wall and there's black mold, or there's faulty electrical, or plumbing needs to be redone, or something just really major that you did not foresee happening. But for just an example, we're going to be buying the house, which is the B in this, for $40,000, that it could be worth up to $200,000. So now what we're going to do is the R, and the next one stands for rehab, or the second R in the BRRRR method. Kind of self-explanatory. We're going to be rehabbing the property, putting some new windows. We're going to be clearing out all the dead brush, probably at a minimum power washing or maybe even painting the brick. Last I checked, I think it would probably need a new roof. I haven't seen the inside of it, so who knows what that looks like. So I don't know. Let's even just go, I don't want to say shoot for the moon, but let's say we have to put $60,000 of rehab to make this a good investment property. Now, I say that as an investment property. It does not need to be the, grade A, top of the line, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, top-notch wood flooring, etc., that maybe a homeowner is looking for. It just needs to be a really good investment property that you're going to have tenants that look at this like, wow, I want to move in here. So we have the original purchase for $40,000. We put in $60,000 rehab. So we are into it for $100,000. And again, like I said, many times you're not going to be able to get a traditional bank loan for this, for rehabbing of a property. You're going to need, your own funds, savings, collateralized loan, private money, hard money loan. Several options to get money these days. But I just preface that this is not through a traditional bank loan. So now, after $40,000 for purchase, $60,000 of rehab, we are into it for $100,000. So now we have a property that is rent ready, that is ready to go. Second R, or the third letter here in the acronym, is the rent. We're going to rent this property out, and we're going to put a tenant in. And I don't know, I'm just going to do some round numbers. Talked to a realtor friend of mine the other day. I'd say his property was similar. He's getting about $1,200 a month rent for a single family home, similar area, similar size. So we're just going to go for that. So we have $1,200 a month in rent. So now we have a property that we bought that was very distressed. We rehabbed it. We have a total of $100,000 into it. And now we're getting $1,200 a month rent. Now this is where the fun part really comes in. So let's just say now you can go to the bank. You have a property that is rehab. There's a tenant in there. They have a long-term lease. For a standard Freddie Fannie loan, you can count that lease as income that can offset your DTI, for the mortgage, the insurance, the taxes, etc. So now you can go, hey, Mr. Banker, I have this property, comparable comps, worth about $200,000. It's writing about $1,200 a month. Tenants signed in there for a long-term lease, maybe a year, maybe 2 years. I want to, third R, refinance, or refi for short. So again, we have $100,000 in this property. Now, typically if you're doing a standard purchase on a property, I've seen as high as 90% loan to value where you put a 10% down, or 10% equity, 90% loan. Many times 80% loan, 20% equity, or 80% loan to value. Typically for your cash out refinances, rehabs, and especially with interest rates going up, banks might be a little bit more conservative. I've seen pretty much max of about 75% typically that you can do a cash out refinance and take funds out of the property. So using this example, and let's just say, hey, we go in for the refinance, an appraiser is hired, appraiser looks at comps in the area, recent sales, recent pending, ones that are up for sale. They do all their, number magic, and they say, yep, I appraise this property at $200,000. Sounds great. So now you go back to the bank and say, I want to cash out, refi this. So now the bank's money is going to get involved. And I'll just put $ for bank here. So we have $200,000, and the bank says, you know what, I'm going to allow you to do we're going to say $75,000 cash out refinance. Okay. So just keeping numbers simple if you don't have a calculator handy with you. 75% of $100,000, and remember, this is what we're into it, what we put into the property, comes to $75,000. Take that 75% times another 100,000. 100,000 plus 100,000 equals $200,000. It's another $75,000. So the cash out refi comes to $150,000, or a 75% loan to value on a cash out refi. So now we have a cash out refinance of this house, has $50,000 in equity in it, is worth $200,000. We had $100,000 into it. We just got $150,000 from the bank. The $150,000 pays off the $100,000. You know, maybe that was your HELOC loan. Maybe you had a private lender, a business partner, whole life policy loan, whatever source of funds you use to get the property initially. Now that is paid off, and you still have $50,000 of cash in your pocket. You have a good property. It's been rehabbed. There's a tenant in there. It's paying you $1,200 a month. So nice property. Maybe put under a property management company, be a little more hands off, but now you have a cash flowing asset and you have $50,000 in your pocket. So what do? You just, I don't know, go buy a, new Tesla or new electric car, new, go on a vacation, fix up your own property, do a kitchen remodel, whatever. Well, this is the last part of the BRRRR method. R stands for repeat. So if you remember this whole process, buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat, we're in the repeat phase. We're going to take that $50,000 and we're just going to repeat that process. We're going to find another property out there. Maybe it's distressed, and then rehab it. We're going to put a tenant in that, rent. We're going to do a cash out refinance, and we're going to repeat. And basically this just allows you to recycle your original funds over and over and over again while you build up your portfolio, while you build up equity. And then hopefully, if everything turns out well, you have a tenant in each of those properties that's paying you monthly rent. So this is a way to kind of keep moving forward, keep moving faster, versus then, oh, I got to sit back and save for another down payment on another property. And similar, like we talked about last week, of refinancing, taking money out of a property, this just kind of combines all those aspects into one option, or the BRRRR method. So hope you learned a few things from this video. As always, if you got questions or ideas, feel free to message me, email me. I'm not that hard to find. You can go to my website, wealthandfreedomaccess.com. In the meantime, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for way number 13 when I come back to you for Wednesday's video. Take care.